Many years ago, I came across a few lines in a book that I connected with. They were, "It's easy to judge, but you never know another person's heart, what gives them strength and what breaks them down." I have learned to listen more and speak less. The result has been eye-opening conversations and inspirational moments that I have shared with you right here. Hello and welcome to another episode of Crystal One-on-One. We're at M Maison Interior Decor at Quality Hill Boutique Mall, and I'm Crystal, chatting with a traveler, a Ugandan traveler today. Now, she's well known as Uchenda, but her name is actually Fay Kakai.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Crystal.
How are you?
Great. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, it's nice to
Yeah.
have you. It's nice to have you, especially since you're doing something new.
Yes.
I'm sure you're going to inspire so many people. You
I
have
hope
your
so.
own ebook out there.
I do. I hope so. I hope people can read it and get inspired and tell me what they think, share their feedback. It's the first time I'm putting out a book. So yeah, it is a big deal for me, and I hope it will be a big deal for someone else.
Now, I met you before. I
Yeah.
follow you on social media. You're a very passionate traveler. You're a blogger as well.
Yes.
And I think you come across it all the time. It's an attitude or perception that we're trying to change, that
Yeah.
Ugandans can travel,
Yeah.
especially within our own country.
Yes.
Do you find people who look at you like,
Yeah, people are like, how do you do it? Like, where do you get all the money from to travel? And I'm always like, you guys, like, it's possible. First of all, like you said, before I started blogging, I always used to think of travel as like traveling out of the country. I always wanted to go to these places far away that I'd heard of, to Europe, to Asia, and all these different places. And then the more I did that, so I would save. I'll just save up. I'll travel on a budget, maybe go stay with some friends here and there. And then the more I did that, every time I would come back home, I realized how much I loved Uganda. Like, there was just something about coming back, the warm air, how green it was. Like, when you go away from places, you appreciate home more.
that's true. You come back and you're like,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
home.
like home, the food, like everything, the air. And so I just decided I'm going to go on a mission to just see Uganda. Like, I had traveled a bit around Uganda, but there's still so many places I hadn't been to. And I'm still on that mission. And so I'm always telling people there's so much just close by. Like, go to Jinja, go to your village. Like, there's so many beautiful places. So you still can travel without spending so much.
And our culture is also very, very rich. But somehow
Exactly.
there's a block, there's a gap. We're not passing down a lot of the stories.
Exactly, yeah. So there's so many places that are not even really documented, or you won't find a lot of information about them, which is why I try to go to these places and write about them so people can go there and know. But yeah, there's so much rich culture, there's so much beauty, there's so much amazing scenery. So I always tell people, yes, you can travel, you know, and you can travel, doesn't have to be to some far off land. It can be right where you are. And even if you do want to go far, it's just about prioritizing, you know, like if it's something you want to do, like just prioritize, save, find ways of making it happen. Like today, in this digital era, there's so many options. There's Airbnb, there's like, you can travel on a budget.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
Yeah.
I like what you said earlier on about, you know, you go places where you have friends and you can stay with them. And just yesterday I was talking to someone and she's like, oh, you know, it's really good to make friends from different countries.
Exactly.
Because you never know when you might be able to go there
my
and you have
thing. Like, I'm so glad I got to do my university away from home. So I went to Malaysia. I made a lot of friends around the world.
Okay.
And I've been in touch. I've like kept those connections. Even when I do travel, like if I get to go somewhere different, I intentionally try and like connect with different people, and you never know like the kinds of people you meet and the connections you make. Random story, I have a friend from Germany I met randomly in Egypt. So I traveled with a friend of mine.
Okay.
And then I wanted us to go for like some boat trip. Like there was a boat ride where we were going to go and see dolphins, and she wasn't up for it.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, but now I'm going to go alone. But then I was like, wait, I'm going to go alone. Like, that's a good thing, because instead of talking to my friend who I already know the whole time,
You get to talk to new people.
And so I met this lady, this girl, she's a flight attendant, and she was so excited about like Uganda, and she's like, I'm going to come and visit. And so I thought she was joking, but we kept in touch. She's been here twice, and she loves Uganda. And she keeps telling me, you have to come to Germany, you have to come to Germany. So yeah, like it's important to have, to me it's important to have connections around the world, because you never know how you can help each other connect. Sometimes those relationships can turn into like business relationships or like really good friendships. Like you just never know.
You
like,
never know where it will take you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
I love that. Now you said that, you know, people tend to think that, you know, traveling is so expensive, and I can relate to that because when I was younger, well, now I have children, it's not as easy. But when I was younger, I made it a point to travel every year. Actually, even after I had kids for a while, and people would be like, "How do you do it?" And it was about saving. I would intentionally set money aside and say, this is what I want to do in 5, 6, 7, 8 months. And I'll save and plan. And people spend money in all kinds of ways. If you actually take the time to
if you
stop
sit down and look at where your money goes, you
sometimes
can
it's even
travel.
painful.
You can travel.
You
like
can.
if you look at the money you're spending on coffees, on brunch, and I don't know what, you know, getting your hair done all the time, like you can travel. You really can.
And you've talked about traveling on a budget, which is also a very good thing. Even if you can't afford to stay in maybe some of the high-end places, sometimes just by traveling on a budget, you can stretch more, do more time, cover more of an area as well.
And I think you experience more when you travel on a budget. So to me, it's all about the experiences. Like, okay, I'm going to get to that. But when you travel on a budget, for example, if you're staying with a friend or if you're staying at an Airbnb, you really get to interact with the locals in like more authentic way, like where you are. You get to see how people live their lives, like ordinary people, not at like a 5-star hotel, which will probably be the same in Africa. Like their standards are the same. So you don't get to really see what the place is like. So I feel like when you travel on a budget, like you said, you can do more, you can extend your time, and you experience more. Like you leave with a different perspective, you know, like you've gotten to see someone else's way of life. So I really appreciate that for me. And I think, like I'm always telling people, like experiences stay with us forever. Material possessions go. You'll have a phone today, after a year or so, you're no longer as interested in it. When I look back at my childhood, the moments that stand out to me are like where we have traveled. I remember when I was like really young, we took a family trip to Nakuru. It was a road trip. We drove. So that's another way to save, you know, like go by road. And so we went to Chororo, we spent the night there, then we continued to Nairobi, then to Nakuru, Lake Nakuru. And I was really little. I don't remember how old I was so young, but I just remember getting to the lake and it was full of flamingos, like pink flamingos.
Oh my God, you know what? I have a memory of that when I was little too.
Yeah?
Yes.
And I just remember that whole trip. There's something about being on the road, being away from home. Like me and my brother were having so much fun. We got to the hotel and we're like prank calling people. I'm not recommending that, but like it was such a good time. And those are the things that stick out to me. Like I don't remember everything that happened in my childhood, but I'll remember the let's say the bad memories and the really good ones. So I try and build on the good memories, like create more of those, because they'll stay with me forever.
True. I like that you're saying as families, like it's important to create those memories. And a lot of people are like, you know, but hotels are so expensive. But like, for example, like you said, Airbnb, you can rent a little house somewhere. And you find it's not actually too bad. You can, if you save for it and plan for it.
I think it's also just about being open-minded, because I think many times with a lot of things, the battle is in the mind. If you're very stuck in your ways, like maybe, oh, I need to stay in a hotel, I need comfort, I can't handle this, you're going to limit yourself. But if you're like, you know what, this is a bit out of my comfort zone, but let me try. Let me like try pitching a tent and see what that's like, you know. So I feel like if you are open-minded to new experiences, you can do more, and then it turns out you'll actually enjoy some of the things you thought you wouldn't enjoy.
True. Now you said you and your brother, and when you were really little, and earlier on we're chatting, and you said, is it your mom is the firstborn? Or was it?
Yes, so my mom is the firstborn.
And then you're the firstborn.
And then I'm the firstborn.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm the first grandchild on my mom's line.
Okay.
Yes.
And there were 9 years before your brother was born?
Okay, so it's me. I have a brother who follows me,
Okay.
Pandey. There's a 2-year difference between us.
Okay.
And then there's a 7-year difference between Pandey and Mudebo. So there's 9 years between me
You and the
Mudebo.
baby.
Me and
of
me and the baby, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's not a baby.
He's a grown man. Sorry, Mudebo, if you're watching this, but yeah, the last born.
The last born.
Yeah.
Let me be respectful. The grown man now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so as an older, an older sibling, so that means 2-year gap. That means the two of you were quite close as well.
Yes. Yeah,
Are
we
you
were.
still close?
We are close. I feel like not as much as when we were little, because there's a way in which, I don't know, I feel like the boys are so independent and in their own thing. But me and Pandey, yeah, are definitely close. I would say we are closer than me and Mudebo, just because Mudebo is in that phase of, he's in university, he's like doing
He
his
ain't
own
got time.
He ain't got time. He ain't got time for us. But yeah, we are close. We did
Okay.
experience a lot of things together. It was the two of us for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, before my little brother came along.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your parents, are they Ugandan?
Yes, both my parents are Ugandan. They're both from Mbale.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a Mugisu. And yeah, they're alive, they're well, I thank God. Yeah.
Okay. Now you were telling me that the proper pronunciation, I think she tells a lot of people, is
Yes.
Huchenda,
Yes.
where
well,
the K is kind of silent.
my mom is probably going to kill me, but because she says I don't even pronounce it well, but but it's something like Huchenda. Yeah, Huchenda. Yeah, so the K is silent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as like a blogger, and you use that, have you had like people who have had issues pronouncing your name?
Not really. I kind of give people leeway. I mean, I'll tell them how it's pronounced. I'm like Huchenda, and then I usually spell it KHUKYENDA.com.
Yeah.
But I'm used to doing that because even with my name Fay, most of the time, like people don't get it the first time. They're like, Fay, Faith? I'm like, no, Fay, not Faith. Are you sure? I'm like,
So when you say they're like Faye, they're like,
yeah, they're
oh,
like,
Faith.
Is that short for something? So I'm like, Faye. So usually when I introduce myself, I'm like, Faye, F-A-Y. Yeah, I have asked my mom, and she told me, I think she had like a Scottish or something teacher who liked the name. I have looked it up. It means fairy.
Okay.
Yeah, like a fairy godmother or something like that. But yeah, but I think it has Scottish origin, if I'm not mistaken. But
Okay.
yeah.
So were you born in Mbale or?
Yes, so I was born in Kampala.
Okay.
Born in Kampala. When I was 2 years old, we moved to the UK. My dad was working, he's a banker, so he got a job in the UK. My brother Pandey, who I mentioned, was born there. So we moved actually when my mom was pregnant.
Okay.
And lived there for about 5 years. I came back in P3.
Okay.
Yeah, but we had like a year in between where we came and then went back. But basically from when I was 2 years to when I was in P3. Yeah, so.
And then you came back
then
and
we
settled
moved
back
back
in
and
Uganda.
settled back.
Where
in
did you go
Uganda.
to school then?
I went to the Aga Khan. Yeah, so I was in Aga Khan. There was a period, like a term, where I went around to like a couple of schools. I think just trying to settle.
Trying to find the fit?
Yeah, trying to find the fit. So I remember I went to Kampala parents for like 2 weeks and they wanted me to chop off my hair. My mom was like, no, she's not cutting her hair. Then I went to like Lohana. Lohana was really new. But then I finally settled in Aga Khan, P3
Okay.
second term. So P3 first term is when we had just come back and there was a bit of like moving around. And then yes, I was in Aga Khan all the way till P7, did my PLE.
Okay.
Yeah, at the Aga Khan.
Okay. And then A levels? I mean, sorry, secondary?
Secondary, I went to Kaboja
Okay.
Secondary School for O level. And then A level, I went to Gayaza High School.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Oh, Kaboja to Gayaza.
I know.
Wasn't that a bit of
It was.
shock?
A lot of people get surprised. Usually it's the other way around, I'm told. And I was actually the only person from Cambodia in that year. And there was one girl in like the year above me, Charlotte, I remember. So it was a transition. I was excited about going to Gayaza.
Was Gaza your first choice? Is that
It was my first choice in O-level.
okay?
And so I think because I put it as my first choice in O-level, I just automatically put it as my first choice in A-level. I wanted to change schools. I loved Cambodia, but I just felt like, oh, okay, A-level, like, let me try like a new place. I'm all about new experiences, new people. I think I've always had that thing. So, so when I got accepted into Gayaza on merit, I was like, oh, okay, why not? And so, but yeah, it was a bit of an adjustment. I think what I didn't realize, I appreciated Cambodia more after I left, like many things.
Okay.
I think, sorry. What I didn't realize is, what I loved so much about Cambodia is it's like different people.
Yes.
You know, like you have, I was a goody two shoes in school, right?
Okay.
So you have like the goody two shoes, like a very serious people. Then you have some wild people. We had people who had come to school on punishment. Like their parents live in like the UK and they've set them on punishment. So I felt like school was so interesting. Like there's always different characters, different things happening, different stories, different personalities. I got to Gayaza and it was very like cookie cutter. Like everyone is the same. And then I found that not interesting.
Okay.
Like I like to be around different personalities.
Why? Why do you think that is?
I think I've just...
Was it the rules of the school? Was it the policies in the school?
Oh, why do I think everyone
was
the same?
kind of,
I don't know what it is about, like...
Is it because it was a single-sex school?
Yeah, maybe one, it's a single-sex school. And then, I don't know what it is about, like, Gayaza. Like, even today, when you tell someone you went to Gayaza, like, there's a certain expectation. Like, I don't know, natural hair in a park, like... a certain way. There was just something about it, like we all went to chapel at the same time. Like there was just something about the school. Maybe it was just like the values that they instill, and like the I don't know what it was, but I did appreciate the school. I just missed the variety that was in my former school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after your A-levels?
So after my A-levels, I went to Malaysia.
Okay.
I mentioned for my...
So you went straight?
Yes.
Was it a discussion that you had with your parents, like, I want to go to another country?
Yes, I did want to go to another country, I remember. So I remember I looked at different options and we settled on Malaysia. I think it was like relatively more affordable compared to a lot of places, and I liked the idea of Malaysia. Like I just imagined some tropical paradise.
Was it?
Things I was looking at.
Was it a tropical paradise when you got there?
It's a very beautiful country, very beautiful. It's a lot like Uganda. The weather is the same the whole year. People are very friendly. I did enjoy my time there for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who speak English?
Yes, they speak
Okay.
English. Yeah, they do speak English. They teach in English in their high school as well. So most of the people do speak English.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I was reading an article. Someone else was talking about the university experience, I think, but in Thailand. And one of the challenges was hardly anyone at her university spoke English. So she was very, very lonely.
Okay.
In her story.
Yeah, that could have been in Thailand. It's possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay. So
Malaysia was pretty. Yeah, people would speak English. I mean, of course, there were some places like when you go to the market, they would struggle, but you could actually like get by. It wasn't too hard.
So that's, I see what you mean, is a lot like Uganda. Because people are always shocked at how many people actually do speak passable English.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So did you enjoy it? What did you do?
What did
you study?
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
studied a bachelor's in business administration. I majored in marketing management. Yeah.
Okay. So is that because you wanted to do business or?
Yes. Let me see. So when I went to Gayaza, I did sciences. I did PEM art.
Okay.
And it was kind of a thing of, I'd done really well in my O-levels, and it was a thing of like they give you a combination.
Yes.
Depending on which subjects you pass, etc. And I'd done well in maths and physics. But when I always think back, I'm like, why did I do PEM art? I should have done like, I loved literature. I loved English. I was like, I should have done like literature. I should have done like, I did do art. Art was my favorite subject.
Okay.
But I did do PEM art because at that time I thought I wanted to do architecture.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't really understand what architecture was. That was a problem. I think I like the word architecture.
I want to be an
I want
architect.
to be an architect. I remember watching, oh my God, this is so random. I remember watching Father of the Bride. Have you watched that movie?
Yes, I remember.
And like the girl in the movie
Steve
was
Martin.
an architect, and she looked like really nice with her glasses and like her sketches. And so I thought it was more of like an artsy thing because I loved art. I love art. I've always been drawn to the arts in general.
Okay.
And so I imagine like drawing and like sketching like houses and
creating.
I love the creativity and the creation part of it. And then I realized a lot of physics and maths and technical drawing, and I didn't really enjoy physics in my A level. And so I was like, and then I was like, and then it was also 5 years. You know, the things that influence our decisions when we're young. I'm like, that's so silly, 5 years passed. But it just seemed longer than all these other courses that
like
were 3 years.
11 or 12 years before you can actually even practice, like, properly.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. So, and then I thought, okay, I think I'd rather do something like business marketing because I also loved the idea of marketing. It did appeal to me in an artsy way. Yeah, so I chose to do marketing instead of architecture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your parents were okay with that change in direction?
Yeah, no, they were okay. My parents have always been pretty supportive. Yeah, they're like, do what you're comfortable with and what you want to do. Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know how many people I've spoken to, and they're like, oh, you know, my parents decided that
no,
I would do this.
That's
they're like, I don't know why I wasted all those years of my life.
I know, like if tell you have to be a doctor, or you have to be an engineer. No, one thing I'm so grateful for is my parents have always been like, they're just always so supportive. They never pressurized me into anything. You know, I speak to so many people who are like that, whether it's career, whether it's like your direction in life or when you should get married or like whatever it is. My parents have always been like, take your time, do what you're comfortable with. Yeah, so so I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, as a travel blogger, I think for you, when you were entering that space, did you find any other Ugandans who were like travel bloggers?
Yeah, so I remember like once I decided I really wanted to write about travel, I started looking up, like going on the internet. Most of the bloggers that I'd find were from the US, from Europe.
Yes.
But I did find, I know one Ugandan travel blogger who is still blogging.
Oh, is she the one who's gone to every country?
No. Oh, that's Jessica Nabongo, but she's based in the US.
Okay.
Yeah, I follow her too. Yeah, but there is Karen. There's her blog is now called Going with Karen.
Okay.
Yeah, so we actually met. I reached out to her. I was like, oh, I like what you're doing. I'm doing the same thing. So we've done a few trips together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's like the one other person I know who's still like actively blogging. Oh, there are a few others. There's a blog called Kezire, although now she's, I think, doing more of like tours.
Okay.
Like organizing tours. So there could be a few others.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
But there's just not that many, and I think the ones that maybe are there don't do it as consistently, or they've stopped. Because I remember finding one, I forget the name. What's it called? Okay, there's one I found when I just started, but it's not there anymore. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you finished university?
Yes.
And then did you come back to Uganda?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
So I came back straight away, and I applied. I remember I came back, flipping through the papers, applied for a job at an ad agency. It was called B-Strat Advertising. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay. But I was so excited because I just applied, went for the interview, and I immediately had a job. Like I think I came back in December, I had a job in Jan. Okay. I was like, okay, yay! This isn't so hard. You know, people say, yeah. So anyway, I went. It was a good learning experience because it was a startup.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was like this new agency that was starting out. So I really appreciate the time there. I was just there for 6 months, and then things were not going so well, and eventually the company closed, and I left.
Okay.
And then I went to work at a bank, Stanchart.